If it's happening in professional wrestling, we're breaking it down. The matches, the moments, the rumors, and yes, even the hot takes. This is Pro Wrestling Focus. No nonsense, no wasted motion, just pure wrestling talk. Now, here's your host, Cody Springer.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Focus. And before we get into anything today, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the passing of a true rock legend, Ozzy Osbourne. The Prince of Darkness is gone. And while his role in professional wrestling wasn't massive, it meant something. Ozzy's connection to WWE might have been brief, but it was memorable. And if you know, you know. He showed up at WrestleMania 2 back in '86, standing in the corner of the British Bulldogs. And let's be honest, he didn't need to be there. He wasn't chasing a check, clout, or trying to be the center of attention. It was just Ozzy doing Ozzy, being a fan, soaking up the chaos, and adding his own flavor to it. And that's exactly what made it cool. Later in 2007, he got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, the Celebrity Wing. And yeah, I know, the Celebrity Wing catches a lot of side eyes, but this one felt right. Because Ozzy didn't treat wrestling like a joke. He treated it like the wild, over-the-top spectacle that it is. And if that's not the spirit of rock and roll, I don't know what is. So rest in peace to one of the most iconic, unpredictable, and straight up unforgettable performers the world has ever seen. Whether it was biting the head off of a bat, or standing backstage at WrestleMania in a sequined jacket. Ozzy lived his life loud and unapologetically, just like wrestling. Ozzy Osbourne, forever a legend. So let's talk about Elena Black, formerly known as Cora Jade in NXT, and the fact that she's stepping away from wrestling for the rest of this year due to mental health reasons. Now, let me just start here. I don't care what side of the fan fence that you're on. If someone says wrestling is no longer good for their mental health, you respect it. This isn't just about wrist locks and near falls anymore. The industry will chew you up and spit you out, especially if you're a young woman with a microscope on every single thing you do, in the ring, online, or behind a paywall. Elena's announcement came recently, just a couple days ago, and this is coming off the heels after a few months ago, after her being released from WWE, and she said flat out that wrestling wasn't good for her mental health anymore. So she's stepping away to focus on herself, and let me tell you, that takes guts, especially in an industry that preaches never give up, while slowly grinding people down until they're shells of themselves. And yet, surprise, surprise, some fans didn't take it well. Some think this is just a pivot to go full-time on OnlyFans, because yes, she did launch that after her release, and she said herself that's been way more lucrative than her NXT contract ever was. Now, here's where I jump in and call BS on the hate. If she's making more money, taking less physical punishment, and has full control over her time and body, why the hell wouldn't she do it? Some of y'all are mad because she realized she doesn't need to get dropped on her neck 200 days a year for a fraction of what she's making now. Let's call it what it is. Jealousy. You either hate that she's making that kind of money, or you hate that you're paying for the pictures yourself. Either way, it's pathetic. Look, I want to see Elena Black wrestle again someday? Sure, she had a cool vibe, she had something unique going for her, and only at 23, she's got time. But more than that, I want her to be okay. This is someone who's being open about her mental health, which, let's be real, is still a taboo in wrestling. And instead of just grinding through it until something really bad happens, she pulled the plug and said, I'm taking care of me. That should be applauded, not questioned. As fans, we don't own these wrestlers. We don't get to decide their path. All we can do is watch, support, and if they need to step away, we respect it. I wish nothing but the best for Elena, whether she comes back next year or never does again. She did what was right for her. And that's more important than any indie booking, any internet title, or any keyboard warrior crying on Reddit about wasted potential. Take care of yourself, Elena. Wrestling will be here if and when you are ready. So, Bill Goldberg finally got his big retirement match on July 12th against Gunther at Saturday night's main event. And guess what? He's not happy. Because of course he's not. Now look, I want to respect the man. Legit. Goldberg was an absolute freak of nature back in the WCW days. That undefeated streak, the intensity, that entrance, iconic. He meant something. He mattered. But here we are, nearly 30 years after he speared his way into the business. And somehow we're still treating him like the main character when he won't even read the room. Let's lay it out. Goldberg is upset. His farewell speech got cut off during the live broadcast. He vented on the Ariel Helwani show about how WWE didn't reciprocate his effort. He wanted to put a stamp on everything he accomplished. And I get that. That part makes sense. Retirement in wrestling is rarely clean or satisfying, unless your name is Shawn Michaels in 2010, and even then, he messed it up with that damn crown jewel tag team match. But what did Bill expect? He said, and get this, he questioned whether WWE would have done this to Cena or The Undertaker. Let me just pause right there. No, Bill, they wouldn't. They would not have. Because John Cena and The Undertaker are generational icons who carry the company on their backs for years, not part-time nostalgia props who showed up twice a year to deliver 2-minute matches. Let's not rewrite history. He also complained that the retirement happened at a Saturday night's main event taping, said he wanted a premium live event like SummerSlam. Okay, fair. But whose job was it to make that happen? You're not just some rookie hoping for a push. You're Bill Goldberg. You could have pushed for SummerSlam. You could have insisted on a proper send-off in front of a stadium crowd. Triple H made this retirement match happen because Vince McMahon promised it, and Triple H, credit to him, followed through. He didn't have to, but he did. And then what happens? Goldberg says thanks, but also, here's a list of things I didn't like. You know what that is? That's called being ungrateful. Let's talk about the build-up. Goldberg says it should have started in January. He wanted the full WrestleMania retirement tour experience. Bill, the only build-up we needed was a single tweet. Goldberg, Gunther, July 12th, retirement match. And people still would have tuned in because your name still draws whether we like it or not. But that doesn't mean we need 6 months of you no-selling 20-year-olds and grunting in backstage segments like a video game loading screen. Here's the thing WWE did do right. They let Goldberg go out on his back. They let him go out in his hometown. They gave him a big-name opponent, Gunther. And when the live speech got cut, they still uploaded the full 10-minute version to YouTube. So it's not like they tried to erase him. It wasn't disrespect, but it was just bad timing. Maybe miscommunication backstage. That's not a burial. That's production chaos, which, let's be honest, is half the business. Now here's where it gets real. I had a theory. WWE went through with this match, in part, to keep Goldberg happy and maybe open the door to signing his son, Gage Goldberg, to an NIL deal. That would have been smart. Keep the Goldberg legacy alive. Maybe bring in the younger demo. But what happens? Goldberg shuts it down, turns it down on behalf of his son. Like, Gage didn't even get a say? Bro, come on. That's his decision to make. You just close the door before he could even open it. If he wanted to carve his own path, great. But let him do it. You don't retire his career before he even starts. That's just bad fathering in my book. And here's my biggest gripe. The man got what he wanted and still walked away bitter. You know who doesn't get retirement matches? Most people. Most wrestlers fade away with no fanfare, no send-off, no standing ovation. Goldberg got everything he asked for. A clean finish, a top opponent, a farewell speech, a proper goodbye, and he still finds something to complain about? It's the legend complex. He thinks that just because his name once sold out arenas, every exit has to be a parade. But that's not how this business works anymore. Look, I respect what Goldberg did for wrestling. He was a moment in time, a true phenom. But he should have walked away grateful, not grumbling, because this send-off could have easily not happened at all. Triple H didn't owe him anything. WWE didn't owe him airtime, and the fans didn't owe him patience. And if Goldberg's not happy how it ended, he's got no one to blame but himself. All right, let's talk about it. Seth Rollins and his knee injury. If I had $1 for every time that man's knee has popped, buckled, or betrayed him, I have enough money to buy WWE and book my own damn SummerSlam main event. Let's get into it. Saturday night's main event, Seth Rollins versus LA Knight. In the middle of the match, while going for a moonsault, his knee buckles. He feels it pop. Match ends early. He gets helped to the back, and suddenly, we've got an injury storyline. Or maybe a real one. Nobody knows. Not even WWE. Is it legit? Rollins goes in for imaging, right? But they couldn't get a read because the knee was too swollen. That's fair. That happens. But here's where it gets messy. He's doing interviews saying he believes he's going to be out for an extended period of time. That's classic ambiguous language. Not a timetable, not an official diagnosis, just enough to get you speculating. Now, I know what some of y'all are thinking, but bro, he's on crutches. He's in a knee brace. It has to be real. Okay, but this is pro wrestling, where we've seen people fake being in a coma, rise from the dead, and fight their brothers in Inferno matches. Crutches don't convince me of anything unless I see an actual surgery report from Dr. Andrews himself. Fans are split down the middle, like Seth's MCL in 2015. Half the internet is lighting candles for his recovery, and the other half is already fantasy booking his surprise SummerSlam return with the Money in the Bank briefcase to cash in on either CM Punk or Gunther, which, let's be honest, would be amazing. Then there's the Roman Reigns layer to all of this. Roman returns, targets Seth Rollins' crew, and conveniently, right before Rollins gets injured, come on, you're telling me that's not suspicious timing. There's been actual reports backstage calling this situation Machiavellian, which is basically the wrestling journalism word for a bunch of smoke and mirrors and nobody knows what the hell is real. Even people inside the WWE are reportedly going, I don't know if this is real or not. Rollins did mention that WrestleMania 42 is still in the back of his mind, which makes me think, okay, if he's openly teasing that, maybe this is legit, because if this were a work, he'd probably say something way more definitive, or maybe that's part of the work. See what I mean? Let's not forget, this dude tore everything in 2015. ACL, MCL, meniscus. Full combo meal of knee destruction. Missed WrestleMania that year, then earlier this year, wrestled with an MCL tear. So the knee is not brand new. It's more like that old car that still runs, but only if you kick the bumper 3 times and pray to God. My thoughts, here's the truth. Look, you know me. I care about these performers first. If Seth is actually hurt, I wish him a full recovery and nothing but time to heal up. He's been carrying the company for a while now, and if anyone's earned a break, even a forced one, it's him. But if this is a work, then Triple H, I love you, man, but this execution is off. If I'm booking this, I go full tilt. I put out the big dramatic statement. WWE issues a press release saying that Seth Rollins has re-torn his ACL, will be out for 9 to 12 months. Boom. Sell it. Work the media, work the fans, work me, make us believe that he's done. Then when SummerSlam rolls around and someone like Gunther or Punk thinks they're in the clear, boom. Rollins' music hits, he limps out, place goes nuclear. Cash in, new champ, standing ovation, I fooled you all. Legendary moment. But nah, instead we're getting this vague, middle-of-the-road narrative where it's real or it's not. Or maybe it is, but not as bad. Or maybe it's just a decoy while something else is happening. It's confusing as hell, but to be honest, it kills the heat. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Triple H has the vision. He sees the big moments. But sometimes the execution is sloppy. You can't play in the gray area for too long. Fans are too smart now. And if you want to shock them, you got to commit to the bit. Otherwise, all you're doing is letting speculation outpace the story. And that's what's happening right now. People aren't invested in what is happening with Seth. They're just waiting for the swerve. And when that's the case, you've already lost the magic. So here's my official stance. If Rollins is legitimately injured, heal up, King. We'll see you at Mania. If this is all a work, tighten it up, Triple H. Fool everybody, not just half of us. Until then, we wait, with one eye on that crutch and the other on SummerSlam's closing segment. All right, let's talk about Pat McAfee stepping away from Monday Night Raw commentary. And let's be real, it was starting to feel like this was coming. Now look, let's lay it out like it is. The man straight up said he hit a wall. He's burnt out. Mentally, physically, emotionally, and honestly, I believe him. You can't run at that level 24/7 and not eventually pay the toll. Between the Pat McAfee show, ESPN, College Game Day, being a dad, being a husband, showing up for PLEs, flying across the damn country every few days, it's no wonder the man finally said, I need to sit the hell down. You gotta understand, this isn't just some dude with a podcast who shows up on Mondays. Pat is a full-blown brand. He's everywhere. His schedule is probably more intense than 80% of the WWE roster, and yet he's still brought that ridiculous, caffeinated energy every Monday night on commentary. Say what you want about his style, love it or hate it. But when Pat was at the desk, you felt it. He brought life to the show. Chemistry with Cole, off the charts. But here's the key theme I keep hitting on lately. Mental and physical health matters. Whether you're Seth Rollins blowing out a knee or Pat McAfee realizing he's on the edge of burnout, these people are human. High energy personalities like Pat always look invincible until suddenly they're not. I do think it's interesting how WWE played this, though. For a couple weeks, we just kept getting Pat has the week off, like he was just chilling. But clearly, there was more going on behind the scenes. My guess, WWE gave him a soft landing. Maybe told him, take a week, see how you feel. And then that 1 week turned into 2. and eventually turn into, yeah, this ain't working, let's pause for real. Now, if you're asking me what happens next, this is what I would do. And you know, I like a good angle. Pat McAfee versus Corey Graves at WrestleMania. Let's go. This has been brewing for years. We've had Graves throwing shade on commentary, rumors of real tension. Pat gets put over while Graves, who's been in the trenches for years, gets put on the sidelines. The seeds are already planted. When Pat comes back, which I do think will be around the Royal Rumble, probably won't be at the Rumble because they'll be in Saudi Arabia and Pat doesn't do the Saudi shows. But yeah, when Pat comes back around the Royal Rumble, you run the angle. You let that jealousy finally boil over. Corey snaps. Maybe even tries to take out Pat on his return night. You bring Cole into it too, the glue between them. He's torn. He's the common thread. He's the one who knows both guys. And then boom, WrestleMania. Graves comes out of retirement. You put it on the line. Commentator supremacy. Winner gets Monday Night Raw. It's drama. It's personal. It's real life rooted. And it's perfect. All right, let's get into the match that's been stirring up a lot of conversation. Randy Orton teaming up with Jelly Roll to take on Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul at SummerSlam. Now, when I first heard about this match, I had two thoughts. One, WWE is about to make a viral moment. And two, this is all the ingredients of a car crash that might actually be awesome. Let's start with how this all kicked off. SmackDown. Logan Paul interrupts Jelly Roll during a performance. Classic Logan, right? Just showing up where he doesn't belong. Running his mouth like he owns the place. And then boom, Randy Orton shows up. Big pop. You know, he's here to back the homie Jelly. And before you know it, Drew McIntyre's in the mix. Because Drew has decided he's he's running shit in WWE lately. That dude has been in a bad mood for the longest time, and I'm loving it. Then we go to Saturday night's main event, and this is where things get physical. Jelly Roll straight up shoved Logan Paul to the floor. Man flew like a YouTube thumbnail. And then Randy hit that vintage RKO for the win. But of course, Logan Paul, being Logan Paul, attacks Orton post-match like a little gremlin. And then Drew McIntyre comes in with a Claymore and knocks Jelly Roll into next week. That was a statement. But the real juice, that was on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Bro, WWE took this to late night TV. Randy's out there being all cool and calm like a viper in the wind, and Logan and Drew crash the party. Jelly Roll chokeslams Logan through the interview table on Kimmel. That is insane. That is mainstream buzz and is a huge W for WWE. That's why I call next level promotion. So now it's official. Tag team match at SummerSlam. Orton and Jelly Roll versus McIntyre and Logan Paul. And look, I get why the fans are split. Some people are excited. Some are groaning. I think both sides have a point. Let's break it down. I'll say this. I like this. I'm a fan of Jelly Roll. Dude's authentic. He's not showing up just to get a pop and disappear. He's training at the Performance Center. He's working with The Undertaker. That alone tells you how serious he's taking this. He's lost weight. He's all in. And unlike Travis Scott, Jelly Roll ain't gonna bail. He's gonna show up and work. I respect the hell out of that. And Logan Paul, whether you love him or want to see him get his teeth knocked out, he brings eyes to the product. He gets people talking. The man's an elite level heel. And that promo about Jelly Roll's music being for people who tattoo their kids' names on them, even though they don't have custody. Bro, that was nuclear. That wasn't just heat. That was wildfire. But, I get it. Some people are worried that this is too much for the celebrity match stuff. That Orton and McIntyre deserve better. And I hear that. But here's the thing. WWE is in the business of moments. This ain't Ring of Honor. You want pure work rate? Go watch New Japan. But if you want buzz, mainstream press, casual eyes on your product, this is how you do it. And let's be real. We've seen celebrity matches flop when the celeb's heart's not in it. But Jelly Roll, the man's got heart, he's got grit, and if he can hang in there for 5 to 7 minutes of a hot tag sequence and choke slam somebody again, people are going to eat that up. And sure, there's still questions. Can Jelly Roll actually go bell to bell? Or is this going to be one of those Orton does 95% of the work matches? That's still up in the air. But even if he's limited, you can structure this match around that. Let Orton carry, let Logan fly, let Drew kill someone, and give Jelly Roll his moments. But the key is that this match means something. It's not random. The tension's been building. The mainstream buzz is there. WWE's doing their job. But my final take is that this is good stuff. I'm into it. Orton's having fun. Jelly Roll's committed. Logan Paul's being an all-time troll. And Drew McIntyre is out here just wrecking people. This has WrestleMania level entertainment vibes. And it's not even the main event. That's how you build a strong undercard. And if Jelly Roll delivers, if he pulls it off, this could be one of those crossover moments that people remember. Like Bad Bunny, like Logan's debut. It could work. SummerSlam shaping up, and this match, whether you love it or hate it, you're going to watch it. WWE's doing their job. They've made you care, and that's the bottom line. All right, here's a little sidebar conversation that's related to this, and let's talk about the moment that had the wrestling internet buzzing this week. Drew McIntyre sitting down with Logan Paul on Impulsive, flat out calling Travis Scott, and I quote, a piece of shit. Yep, he said it. He meant it. No sugarcoating. No, with all due respect, just straight up heat. Now, for those of you wondering what triggered Big Drew to go scorch earth, here's the rundown. He was venting about celebrity involvement in wrestling, which, let's be honest, we all do every other week, and then zeroed in on Travis Scott's 6-minute run-in at WrestleMania in the main event of Cody Rhodes and John Cena. According to Drew, it screwed up their main event, and he didn't stop there. You could see the look in his eyes. Dude's still pissed about it. And listen, I get it. Spent all year building a story, prepping for a big match. This is the main event of the biggest show of the year. And then a rapper shows up randomly, messes with the flow. Like, thanks, Rock. Appreciate that one. This was your boy, remember? Now, let's not forget what happened at Elimination Chamber. Travis Scott straight up blew Cody Rhodes' eardrum out with a slap that looked like it was taught by someone in catering. That wasn't wrestling. That was assault on live TV. And here's the interesting part. Drew's not taking shots at all celebs. He made it crystal clear that Logan Paul gets a pass. And you know what? Fair. Logan's been in the trenches. He's taken bumps. He's sold. He's trained. Say what you want about him, but he's putting in the work. Unlike Travis, who showed up, slapped a dude wrong, and dipped. The fan reaction's been mixed, and I get why. Some people are saying celebrity involvement brings more eyeballs, which is true, but there's a huge difference between someone like Bad Bunny, who puts in the reps, and someone like Travis Scott, who shows up for a quick check and calls it a day. For me, look, I don't hate Travis Scott. I actually enjoy some of his music. But when it comes to wrestling, he's got no business being in that ring if he's not willing to put in the work. He was supposed to train. He didn't. He was supposed to take this seriously. He did not. And now Drew, who is not exactly known for being Mr. Chill, is letting the world know how he feels. And honestly, I back it. So if you haven't heard it yet, go listen to the podcast. Drew didn't mince words, and it's clear that this alliance between him and Logan Paul is based on mutual respect and mutual hate for celebrities in wrestling, more specifically Jelly Roll. And that's what's going to make their upcoming tag match against Orton and Jelly Roll even more interesting. But I think the overall lesson to take from this is, if you're going to come into the world of professional wrestling, you better respect it. Let's talk about it. The real head of the table is back. Roman Reigns finally returned to WWE TV on the July 14th episode of Raw, and I don't know about y'all, but hearing that music again, chills. Now let's be real. This isn't just Roman Reigns coming back to hang out and cut a promo. Nah. This is Roman Reigns coming back on business. And that business, a little unfinished revenge tour with Paul Heyman and a reunion with Jey Uso. Let's rewind. Last time we saw Roman was the night after WrestleMania 41 when Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker took him out. Heyman flipped sides. It was chaos. Fast forward 3 months, and now Roman shows up out of nowhere to save CM Punk and Jey Uso from getting stomped out by Breakker and Bronson Reed. Superman punch, spear, the building erupted. That's how you make a return. And this week on Raw, July 21st, Roman kept the pressure on. Paul Heyman was out there running his mouth with Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker standing beside him. Roman walks out, and the tension in that ring, thick. Heyman's out there trying to play peacemaker, talking about how Roman should take back control now that Seth Rollins is out injured. But Roman shut that down real quick. He called out Heyman for what he really is, a snake who helped destroy the original bloodline. Then we got a straight-up brawl. Breakker and Reed try to take him down, and for a minute it looked like Reigns was going to be in trouble until Jey Uso ran down for the save. And suddenly, the band's getting back together. That last shot of Roman and Jey standing side by side, you could feel that reunion moment brewing. But look, this isn't just about warm and fuzzy family feelings. Roman is back with intent. WWE is building toward a tag match at SummerSlam, Roman and Jey versus Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. And I'll be honest with you, it makes perfect sense. Breakker is the golden boy right now. WWE sees him as their next big franchise player, and they're protecting him like a bag of glass. So if you want Roman and Jey to win without killing Breakker's push, simple. Let Bronson Reed eat the pin. That's the play. But let's zoom out a bit. Roman's return isn't just about a SummerSlam match. This is about him reclaiming his legacy. He's now calling himself the original tribal chief. OTC1 is even on the new merch. And I like that direction. It's a flex. It's a statement. He's not just coming back to remind you who he is. He's coming back to erase what Heyman turned his creation into. And let's not forget, this isn't going to last forever. Roman is in the final stretch of his full-time WWE run. Well, it's not full-time, but you know what I'm saying. Roman's at the end of his rope. Hollywood is calling. The suits are waiting. He's not going to be around another 5 years, so every story they do with him matters. And this one with Heyman, it's personal. The betrayal at Mania, the Rollins interference, it's all coming back around. As far as Seth Rollins goes, we're still waiting on clarity with his injury, but if he's going to get cleared before the fall, you better believe that the chapter isn't closed either. Roman will come for him. But right now, it's all about vengeance. And Paul Heyman's going to find out the hard way that you don't bet against the tribal chief. Bottom line is that Roman Reigns is back. Strap in. This summer's about to heat up. Before we get out of here, we have to talk about one last thing that had the internet, especially thirsty Wrestling X, absolutely losing its damn mind this week. At a recent WWE house show, Nia Jax got stinkface once again by Rhea Ripley. But not just by Rhea Ripley, oh no. This time she got hit with a double trouble. Rhea and Iyo Sky. Back to back. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Nia became the unlucky or very lucky, depending on which side of the internet you're on, recipient of the second annual Rhea Ripley special. Now, for those keeping score, this is the second year in a row that Rhea has backed it up into Nia's face like Rikishi at peak Attitude Era. And to make it even better or worse, the camera caught it again. And X immediately transformed into a live action thirst trap. Male fans out there acting like they're the ones who should get stink faced. I saw one dude post, Nia's living the dream, and another say, why can't I be her just once? Bro, blink twice if you need help. Oh, man. But anyway, that's all for today. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Be sure to like, rate, comment, share the show. Unless you're one of those weirdos who watch that clip in slow motion. In which case, maybe just keep that to yourself. But until next time, stay safe. And remember, not all dreams are meant to be lived, especially that one. Enjoy wrestling and stay focused.